am Marie with Business English Conversations for English Language Learners. I would like to help you become comfortable with business English conversations you could hear in countries where English is the official language. I am in the USA. Our topic today is business English idioms. What are idioms? Idioms are phrases or groups of words that contain a lot of meaning. The meaning cannot be understood from the individual words. All the words together carry the meaning. Idioms connect what you're saying to cultural experiences that highlight your meaning. Idioms help you to shorten your sentences, and this saves time. They help your listener to understand quickly what you mean. It is very important to save time in business operations, so business people use many idioms in their conversations. What are some common idioms you might hear in a business conversation or meeting or see in an email? Here are just a few. See eye to eye. This means we agree with each other. We see the same facts and we understand each other's point of view. Of course, if we don't see eye to eye, we don't agree very often. Here's how it's used in a sentence. Okay, I know we don't always see eye to eye, but I found this really great project. I think you might like to work on it.
Problem seriously. So I'm wondering how you suggest that people can come together and see eye to eye on this issue, and how the left, having worked in the Obama administration, can demonstrate sincerity without compromising its objectives.
Piece of it. My hope is that people are going to step back and say, how do we bring diverse groups? Kathy is one of the best experts in this country on intergroup dialogue. How do we bring groups that may not see eye to eye together to come up with actions and solutions that we all have an investment in?
The next idiom is a full plate. You have a lot of work to do, or you may have many problems to deal with. This means you cannot accept additional work. If your plate is full of food, you cannot add any more food to it. This excuse is frequently used by employees to avoid accepting additional work. Is John coming to lunch with us? He is the company's accountant, and he has a full plate trying to complete the income tax forms by the deadline.
Which is really nice.
Absolutely, yeah.
You actually realize that you're capable of doing so much more.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You just have to do it.
So productive.
Yeah, you just do it, right?
Exactly.
You know, you sometimes you freak out with, you know, when you get that this course schedule and you realize that you have a full plate of classes and you have, you know, still have to go to the gym, you still have to hang out with friends, you still have to be social, you can't just be under a rock throughout the whole semester.
Of stories I can tell to serve a variety of different leadership purposes. Finally, one last tip to help: record those stories. I know, I'm sorry, one more thing to add to your already full plate.
At arm's length. This means to discourage personal contact or familiarity with someone. To keep someone at arm's length means you do not socialize with them. Did you invite Tom to the company picnic? He is really a competitor of our business, so we need to keep him at arm's length.
Down in Mar-a-Lago and so on, Trump was very good at cultivating relationships. And trust me, he tried to cultivate a relationship with me too, but I was a journalist and I understood I needed to keep him at arm's length. Like you do.
I've just always been a silly kid. I was actually really shy growing up, and my shyness manifested in a very large personality. It kept people at arm's length.
Bad egg. This is someone who is worthless, not a trustworthy person. You wouldn't want to eat a bad egg for breakfast, so you would not want to have a bad person on your team. Why did they fire the new sales agent? The new sales agent was a bad egg and deliberately overcharged the customer.
At least in Martinez's case, even when you're not caught immediately for your crimes, a bad egg is a bad egg and ends up in prison anyway.
No, but there are certainly a lot of men who act like trash. And one bad egg shouldn't ruin the whole basket, so more preventive measures.
Belt tightening means to reduce spending. Imagine if you were to reduce your spending, you would eat less food and you would probably lose weight. You would have to tighten your belt so your clothes would fit. Our purchasing department canceled the order for new computers. Due to the reduced profits, our company had to do some belt tightening.
Without a doubt, everyone in leadership at public universities can and must do a better job of reducing costs and improving education. Further belt tightening must occur on university campuses everywhere. Every member
and projects. It's not easy, particularly in these difficult economic times. I know that in this era of belt tightening and budget cuts, all of you are working harder than ever before just to hold things together.
Bitter pill to swallow. This means bad news. News that is difficult to accept. If you had to take medicine in a pill form that tasted bitter, how would you feel? The bad taste would make it hard to swallow. John, I know this is going to be a bitter pill to swallow, but we're closing the factory. Wow, what shall I tell my wife and my children? It is a bitter pill to swallow.
I chair the House Transportation Committee, and we passed a very important bill this year. It's a bill that, you know, like it or not, is going to increase taxes, not only this year, well, in January of 2016, we'll see an increase in the fuel tax, but we have now indexed the fuel tax so that it moves with the price of fuel. So as, you know, as the price of fuel goes up in the future, we will see our fuel tax move right along with that. And it's a bit of a bitter pill to swallow. I don't like paying more in taxes. I know the senator certainly.
That are looking to see if there is a consistent and reliable indicator of that kind. But I want to say that that's why I called it a bitter pill to swallow. Just about everything we've tried hasn't worked. And the best evidence from the left.
Bullish on. To be optimistic about a project. To be very hopeful about a future plan or idea. This phrase, to be bullish on something, comes from the stock market. When someone likes a certain stock and wants to buy the stock, they say they're bullish on that stock. What do you think our sales will be in the next 3 months? I'm bullish on our prospects for increased market share using our unique technology.
Reduced with the adoption of technology. So we're bullish on technology, and part of the reason I'm here is because we're here to say that the Department of Transportation wants to lean in and try to get more automation deployed, but of course we've got to do some homework.
So looking across the Google universe then, what is a product area or an emerging technology that you're especially bullish on, excited about, and why?
It's a hard one to answer because, as I said, we're so...
The final idiom for today. Compare apples to oranges. If you compare things that are very different, you are comparing apples to oranges. If you're comparing the performance, for example, of 2 people, and they have different skills and different strengths, you're comparing apples to oranges. This comparison is invalid. Our new CEO is just amazing, while the previous one was not skilled. Yes, they are like apples and oranges.
more expensive. Now, to be fair, we are comparing apples and oranges here to an extent. In 1974, cars were not nearly as nice. They were not nearly as durable. They didn't have all the options that cars today have. They certainly didn't last well into the 6 figures in terms of mileage. So it is an apples to oranges comparison. But
with me, it's just the way I'm hardwired. And sometimes you just have to accept the way you are. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being an introvert. It's not like being an introvert is worse than being an extrovert. They're totally different things. It's like comparing apples and oranges. This doesn't make sense to compare them. They're different.
That's it for today's lesson about business conversations in the work environment. Now, what idiom or English sentence would you like me to explain? Leave a comment or question below, and I will reply. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see other videos like this explaining idioms, phrases in English, hit the like button and the subscribe button and share this video with your friends. And you can reach me on verbaling.com for one-on-one help with Business English Conversations.